All right, so hey, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I appreciate you being here. If you're a subscriber already, thanks for just tuning in again. I really appreciate that. So today, Father's Day is fast approaching here, and not to say that I need anything as a dad. I just get enough pleasure of just having my kids and my wife around me. That's all I need. However, if you're looking for a good gift, these are what I think are the top 3 gifts that any dad should have in his garage. All right, so let's do it. All right, so gift number 1. This is the number 1 tool that I think everybody should have, whether you have a garage, you're in an apartment, I don't care what it is, you need a good tape measure. The problem is you go to the hardware stores or any big box store and there's 10,000 options of tape measures, so I'm gonna narrow it down to 1. And I'll give you the reason that I love this tape measure, all right? This is the Fast Cap Lefty Righty. Very inexpensive, $10 or less on Amazon. I love this tape measure, and here's why. You don't realize this until you get a bunch of different tape measures, but each one of them will measure just a little bit differently. Nothing crazy, but if you're going to do a project, you want to stick with one single tape measure through the entirety of that project. Okay, so on this tape measure here, you don't realize that this is a big deal until you see a different one. If I lock this, no matter which way I hold the tape measure, you're always looking at the numbers right side up. That's awesome. For me as well, this is really nice that you have to the 16th labeled. The red numbers on here is going to be a little blurry, sorry. But the red numbers on here are the 16th numbered on each one of them. Math is really simple. It's really quick to go in. I believe in this tape measure so much. This is not sponsored. I believe in it so much. There's 2 of them. This is the one I use all the time. So I'm going to give you a couple little tips on what this thing is and why it's so great. All right, so on the Fast Cap tape measure, there's a couple of things on it that's just so smart, really. Number 1, I mentioned the numbers, that no matter which way you hold it, they're always right side up. That's really handy. For me, I'm right-handed. You don't realize this, but when you stretch a tape measure out and I'm trying to mark, the numbers are upside down. I don't know why they do that, but that's just how it is. So having the numbers always look at me right in the right direction is great. That's number 1. Number 2 is the fact that this has a notepad built onto it here, so I can scratch in. Yep, little smiley face. And you're like, well, that's great, but you can't erase it. All you got to do, sorry, it's kind of gross. Lick it there. You're good to go again. That's it. Love that, because if you're measuring something, you're like, man, I don't have a piece of paper. You have a pencil. Usually I got one stuck in my hat like this. You make your measurements, good to go. But the greatest thing about this tape measure is probably one of the dumbest things that I think I saw on it until I used it and thought, my goodness, why does every tape measure not have this? It's a pencil sharpener. So number 2 pencils go right here in the edge. Get it where you can see it, right there. And then right there. How smart is that? That is genius. So the number 1 gift that I believe every father, every man should have in his garage is one of these. Like I said, $10 or less. I promise that your dad's gonna love it. I bought one after I've had one for a while. I bought one for my dad, and he since bought 2 more for himself because they're that good. Okay, so that's number 1. Let's get to number 2. So number 2 here is a good saw. Now I think that's kind of a standard thing. You've got saws like this. This is just an old Craftsman saw, and this is a really good saw, don't get me wrong, but I don't use this saw very much at all. Now there's some things on it that are very handy. The fact that this is a square is very handy. The fact that this is a 45 is very handy. If you don't believe me, they're right here on the sides. Most of these hand saws like this will work, but that's not the saw that I think every father should have. It is this one. This is a Japanese pull saw. It is a Suizan Ryoba, and I love this saw, okay? Nothing else makes you feel, awesome, but it has 2 very sharp edges on it. And just for little things around the house that you don't realize that you might get into, if you're a woodworker like I am, I use it all the time, but I think your dad's still gonna like this. This is another one, pretty inexpensive, $20, $25, something like that. Good one to have around. There's also different sizes. This is one of the bigger ones. They have some little bitty ones that are for trim and things like that, flush cutting. They're very nice. The other thing that's really, really nice about these, number 1, they have their sleeve, and they are very flexible. So if I'm trying to flush cut something, the saw will contour to it. That's really nice. So number 2 gift would be a good saw. Suizan Ryoba, that's a good one. All right, and lastly, the thing that I believe every father should have, every guy should have in their garage, is a couple of good clamps. Now, that's easy for me to say as a woodworking guy. I have clamps everywhere. You can see a bunch of them on the wall behind me. The other wall that's on this side is covered in them. And there's some that are like these. These are some Irwin clamps. Okay. Here's some bigger Irwin clamps. All right. Here's the little bitty Irwin clamps. Still, okay. The clamps that are my go-to and what I think every dad would really appreciate is these. These are called Jorgensen F-style clamps. They're super, super nice, very budget friendly. And you don't realize how much you actually would use these, if nothing else, just to have a little helping hand. This is a 12-inch. They make a 6-inch. They make all different sizes of them. The 12 is the go-to. Why? Because you can stretch it out a pretty good ways and get a lot of use out of it. But very inexpensive for the amount of stuff that you would actually use this for. And it's, like I said, I get that not everybody's a woodworker. I get that not everybody's out in the garage like I am a bunch. These are very handy. I use these all. We did our bathroom remodel, and there was probably 5 of these laying in the bathroom because I would need to hold something, and you can just tighten it down real quick, toss them to the side. Very durable. So if you're going to give your dad one of 3 gifts, this is another one of the top 3. All right. But I'm going to go back to it one more time. If you're going to get your dad one gift for Father's Day, every man should have, it's the old lefty righty. All right. That's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, like I said, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Share it with somebody else. Y'all have a great day. From me to my father, happy Father's Day, Daddy. Thanks for teaching me everything I know. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.